Welcome back to God's Golden Acres. I'm Kim, and we're setting record lows tonight, or close to records. So it's gonna be about 22 for a low. So I'm out giving. Actually, we're gonna do hay instead of straw. It's supposed to be 70s in the weekend, but the pig needs something. The dog, we've been tying her up at night for safety with hunters and the cats and her because she didn't grow up with cats. She didn't get a cat as a farm member until she was 6 years old, but they're all pretty good buddies now. So we were getting close to feeling confident with that anyway, and now so she's gonna be full-time off the chain, unless of course she's getting into trouble, because bored dogs get into trouble. And so she'll be able to come into the barn. Hay here for her. She gets to curl up in there. Straw, and we don't mind if she steals a couple flakes of straw. There's a pile of straw there, or hay. It's probably hay straw mix. And then this whole thing is thick with hay straw mix also. So she'll pick a spot. She'll be warm. When it gets colder and more consistently cold, we will then pull off a couple flakes and set up in a corner for her. You'll be like, well, why don't you bring her inside? Well, because it's actually more abusive in the long run. So she is a working dog. So she protects the farm, keeps the deer away from the garden, keeps the deer and the cows away from the house, so our neighbors' cows get out. The fence needs work there, and we need to get with them to replacing it because it's on the exact property line. So we both have responsibility in replacing that. Hey, you're making that difficult, even though it's dark in here. And so we get cows in our yard, and she alerts us if the cows are in the area where they're not supposed to be. And then she also keeps the coyotes away from the pigs and the cats. So she's got a big job. So she needs to be outside. And if it's really cold, especially like 0, coming from a 70-degree house to 0 for long periods of time possibly is shocking to the body. So even though we will bring her in on like negative 30-degree nights that it's like polar vortex cold, we're not going to bring her in for 22 degrees, right? We're going to try to keep it balanced and keep them safe while providing, like we might move her doghouse into the barn. Right now it's right outside the barn under that lean-to porchy area. Maybe we'll move her doghouse in the barn. Even in the negative degrees, she would kick her straw out. Another reason for making sure she's not on the line getting used to the cats anymore from her doghouse situation, because she would kick her straw out and then sleep outside in the straw because she just gets hot really easily. She does not want to be in a 75-degree house. She wants to be outside running around when it's like 45 degrees. Like, that's ultimate. So she can make her like perfect 45-degree sleeping weather by controlling where her straw is and how much she uses, which she did last year anyway. Like I said, she was kicking it out in negative degree weather. You're needy. Are you needy? He's honestly the nicest pig I've ever met. Come here. Oh, you're so sweet. Yes, you are. So we decided on hay in here for some bedding because it's supposed to be back in the 70s. And he can munch on it and chew on it and bed down in it to keep warm. It doesn't keep them as warm as straw because straw has more air pockets and air is very insulating. But straw is more expensive. So this will be good. Right, buddy? And he is getting very fuzzy already. Hey, psh. Don't chew on my pants. I was just telling everyone how sweet you were. There's a cat over there. Because she follows me for attention, huh, buddy? I know, I didn't bring you any more treats. I almost always have treats for you. Right now I just have scratches. Hey Liz, you were already up and out this morning. Yeah, you're doing good. Some frost on the windshield. Throw my dirty car, I'm gonna start it. Go check on Bacon this morning, but he's already up and running around too. It's about 24, that's the lowest I saw when I got up. Of course it was still dark then, so typically it's the coldest right before the sun comes up. And he's mad because I didn't bring him treats again this morning. It is a good idea to double feed in the winter. And you can see he was definitely laying in the hay I gave him last night. And he's just happy. So that's where he slept. He moved it around, made himself his own little divot. It was warm and comfy, right? Ugh. All right. Well, if you don't mess it up too much, I won't give you more. But if you mess up more, I'll have to give you more tonight. What are you doing, Liz? That's the herding dog in her. She was trained, then she broke her leg, for those of you that don't know. And so then they rehomed her to us because we had land and we were getting her dog that passed here recently. We had to make the choice to put her down due to aggression, standing between me and the kids constantly. She wasn't like nipping and biting, but that over possessiveness. And it would have led to a child getting bit, unfortunately. And she had cancer. She wasn't keeping on weight. She had a brain tumor. So it was very, very sad. But we got her simply to keep that other dog company when my first was born. Because what new mom doesn't need another 7-month-old puppy along with a newborn who ended up being in the NICU? That's a story I should tell sometime. Because there are things you can't prep for. And that is one of them. Well, it's been a couple days. So it was 34 when I woke up this morning, I think. It's not too bad, but let's go check and see how the strawberries survived the 22-degree freeze. They're fine, by all means, but a deer came back. Must have been what Lizzie was barking at last night. Killed this runner. So the deer are jerks for surezies. Oh gosh, we need even more rain. I can turn on the sprinkler for this area. But really, outside of the deer being jerks, they're doing really well. But the deer are pulling stuff up. And well, of course, we'll lose some runners. Like that happens every year because not everything roots down really great. Over here. All right, you see some, like this leaf didn't like it. But they're all alive still. Frequently didn't get daughter planting like we wanted to this year. It happens. We got started just a hair late. So, cool spring. We kind of delayed planting a little bit. And then a really, really hot, dry summer. Even with watering, and we didn't have the West watering system set up. If it was a normal summer, it would have been fine. We just didn't have the capability of keeping up in our first year with a drought. Don't let weather extremes bum you out. Like, it's hard to do, but it's not worth it. Here at the kids' patch, which is at Everbearing, so they still had blossoms and strawberries on them, is a perfect example of why we protect our blossoms when a freeze comes, and our berries. So this went through 2 freezes, but it'll do this at like 30 degrees, right? Like this This froze, it's dried up. May? You're not educating people here. Go on. This blossom, you can see the damage to it. It's not going to do anything. You know, and it's the same over here. There's a possibility it puts off more blossoms because it's an everbearing, but these ones that were on aren't going to do anything. And in the spring, 22 degrees is too cold for water to help, but when you're in a lighter freeze, like 29 degrees is what you usually get in the spring with the everbearings, or with the June bearings, excuse me. You can save these blossoms by having your irrigation system running if it's an overhead irrigation system. And the ice and snow are actually good insulators. So basically the water will freeze and the blossom won't. So then you save the blossom, is how it works. Like I said, 22 degrees, your everbearings, when it's that hard of a cold snap, not going to save it. But your other ones, although this one, that one actually looks healthy. And nature wants to survive, right? So sometimes you get little surprises. And like these itty bitty ones back here, they may not have been as affected because, like, you know, the dirt is warm, the coverage, stuff happens. Nature wants to survive. I had spinach go all the way down to 0 degrees and I was still picking off of it. You know what? If it's living, just keep going with it. There are general rules of thumb, but like, you know, a hard fast freeze like that, well, the ground is still warm. So there are things that, like, oh yeah, like the strawberry blossom is safe because it was underneath the foliage, so it made a greenhouse effect, trapping the warm soil temps and between the air and the leaves. So don't fret on some of these things. Like, I come over here now, I only have one left, and it's around a tomato cage because we're gonna mow the rest of this off and till it. The heat and the drought actually killed off more stuff than anything else. But this guy here too survived just fine through this little cold snap. I'm looking for worms while we're sitting here. But like this leaf is damaged, but these leaves are fine, right? And you can see that. Nothing else survived. One blossom and one brassica. I'm like, I can't even think of if that's a cauliflower or broccoli right now. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. Some things will survive it. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's rare. It's not common. But keep the blessings. Thanks for being with us today. I know a lot of us got hit by that cold snap and it took out some fall gardens for some people because we don't usually hit that low until November. So you usually would have had a month more of especially cool weather growing. So I'll be praying for you guys. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you had anything survive, let us know down in the comments. And hit subscribe because I'm going to have more stuff coming out. We're getting more pigs here soon. So you'll want to see that. Thanks for being with us. God bless.